Hey guys, it's Sierra from Holistically Attuned coming to you with our next podcast. And so, or video, depending on if you're watching this on YouTube. I thought that I would do something fun today and talk about candles, their colors, the meaning behind their colors, some corresponding herbs that you can use with these candles, excuse me, and then maybe even some crystals if you were doing some kind of working that would go well with those candles. So yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. It's going to be a lot of good information. So go ahead and grab a pen and a paper, a journal, save the video. If you're watching this on YouTube, just go ahead and like, subscribe, and share the content. If you are listening to the podcast, yay, go ahead and share this, the link with other people. This is just a really safe space to come in and learn about your journey, learn about different forms and practices and routes that you can take, different methods of practicing your magic or harnessing your energetic manifestational capabilities. It is seriously a safe zone, guys. And so as always, I'm going to do a card pull for today's show. And the energy that I got was Ace of Earth. It just kind of jumped out. And then at the bottom of the deck was Ace of Water. And first of all, the fact that it's two aces represents good energy, good luck, good vibes. But Ace of Earth or Ace of Pentacles, if you're using a traditional tarot deck, it really represents the promise of abundance, something new. It is a new business venture. It is breakthroughs in contracts. It could also be a new venture as far as your journey, maybe elevating to a new level on your journey, especially because it's backed here with the Ace of Water, and water is a very intuitive sign. It represents, the depths of our emotions. And Ace of Water, again, it's about enhanced intuition. Ace of Water would be Ace of Cups. And so that right there means enhanced intuition or spiritual growth. Oh, see? So you put those together, and this is the beginning of something new. And I'm looking at the way that she's looking here, almost as if she's talking to her spiritual guidance there, and diving deeper and talking there, realizing that you hold a lot of power within yourself, because that's actually the top of a staff. So it's almost like you're talking to yourself. You're realizing that you hold a lot of power within if you really just kind of believe. You fill your own cup. And so that is our energy for today. And so that's pretty dope, because maybe with something that you learn here, it helps to fill your own cup a little bit, right? And so let's go ahead and get started. So I took notes on the different candles that I wanted to cover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 candles. Okay, so let's see. The first one that I'm going to talk to you guys about is your white candle. And unfortunately, I wish I had brought like candles to kind of, for those of you watching the video, have an idea, but it's okay, whatever. So the white candle, it really represents, it's almost like a blank slate. You can use the white candle for anything. I like to use the white candle when I'm doing work with cleansing, or my ancestor candles, I might make those white. Or if I'm working with the energy of the full moon, I might use a white candle for that. Or I use the white candle to substitute when I'm out of, let's say I want to do some love work and I don't have a pink or a red candle. I'll use a white candle for that. I may also use a white candle if I'm looking for clarity on a situation. Not just white though. If I know specifically what it is, like with my intuition, I may use a blue candle. But if I'm looking for clarity on something, I may use a white candle, or for peace of mind. So with the white candle, if I were using it for clarity or peace of mind, a good crystal that you could work with would be a clear quartz. And for those of you watching, I'm going to hold it up so you guys can see. So this would be a clear quartz. And clear quartz are also known as master healers. So not only does it cleanse your whole auric space and spiritually cleanse and protect, but it also amplifies the healing properties associated with any other crystals that are surrounding it. So, you know, you have different types. You have like the towers, you have a cut base where it's flat on the bottom, but it's kind of like pointed at the top. You have tumbled, you have the rough forms or raw forms. Me personally, as far as crystals go, I think that I have a strong liking to the raw rough forms just because they are in their natural state, but I do appreciate a good tumbled stone as well. So I think it's all about you and whatever you're intuitively drawn to. So some herbs that I would use with the white candle, I would probably use rosemary. Rosemary is a good substitute herb, as in if you needed something, an ingredient, and you didn't have that specific herb, you could throw some rosemary in. Rosemary is good for protection. So I'm a fan of rosemary. I love rosemary on almost anything. It has that spiritual cleansing property in there. Lavender, if I was trying to connect with my ancestors or find peace, I would use lavender. Lavender is good because it calms the mind. It calms you enough so you can hear your own thoughts or your channel messages as they come in. So lavender is a very good herb to work with. Another herb I might use with the white candle would be basil. Basil is good for house blessings, for bringing in positive energy. It's also a good protective herb. And, you know, maybe I was using that white candle for money. Basil's good for money. And then white sage. White sage represents purity. It cleanses, and white candles can be used for that form, for cleansing. So white sage is also good if you were connecting with your ancestors, or if you're trying to get rid of negativity. White sage is good for that. So those are some of the herbs that I would use with a white candle. And then again, as far as the crystal goes, I would use the clear quartz, or maybe if I was doing clarity work, I might use blue kyanite. Looks like that. Or angelite. Blue calcite is a good one. Let's see, do I have any here? I do. Let's see. That's really pretty, isn't it? I love it. It's just a calming energy. Blue also resonates with your throat chakra. Your throat chakra is where your clairaudience is. That's where you, you know, if you were channeling messages, or if you were hearing, you know, those messages auditorily, you would really want to clear out your throat chakra. It's communication. Your throat chakra is communication. So you can see why clairaudience resonates there. So that is some suggestions for the white candle. So now moving to the black candle. Let me tell you something. A lot of people are afraid of a black candle, but that is the candle that you should probably be least afraid of, because it is one of the most spiritual candles that you can use. Black is the lack of color, so it can be used interchangeably as well. Black is good for protection. If I were to want to, so I always have 3 candles burning at the same time. I always have a protection candle, an ancestor candle, and like a money drawing candle for success. Always. Black in and of itself, it banishes negativity. It's the color gets a bad rap, and we always think like black is associated with bad. And really, when you think about it, it was really a racist innuendo or term that was put on magic, so to speak. So if it's black magic, that means it's bad, you know, dark, anything like that. And that's not true. And so black is really good for banishing bad energy. It's good for bringing in protection. It is good if you're doing some binding work. So if I were working with a black candle, let me put this back, I would use something like tourmaline. Tourmaline is really good for protection. I think that everybody should have some tourmaline in their collection. Obsidian, Obsidian is really good at deflecting negativity, protecting your space, and grounding. It's really good at grounding. Um, and also, if you were doing ancestral work, obsidian is a good choice. Smoky quartz. Smoky quartz is really good because it transmutes energy. So it takes that negative energy and it transmutes it into positive energy. And I mean, that in and of itself is like, ah. Something else that I use my black candles for is when I'm working with new moon energy. So if I were doing that, I might be working with the black moonstone. And moonstones are always good for tapping into your intuition. And the new moon is good for tapping into your intuition. And it's just like if you knew your cycles, if you cycled around the new moon, if you menstruated around the new moon, then that is a sign of being highly intuitive. And so it's a good time to go within and really listen to your body and your inner knowing. And so, you know, or I would work with hematite too. Hematite is really good for that. If I was banishing emotional traumas, I might work with ocean jasper. That one is really good for that. And so that's the black candle. Let's see, brown. Now, brown is not something that people work with a lot. I feel like we skip past it, but working with a brown candle can be very beneficial if you were trying to do grounding energy. If I was trying to ground my energy, if I was doing something for my home, if I wanted to work with Capricorn energy, right? Any earth-like elemental energy, I would work with the brown candle. Let's see, if I wanted to do stability, I've heard people work with it for like animal workings. Maybe if you were doing animal Reiki, that would be a good idea. If I were working with the brown candle, I might use something like Moakite. That's this. That's this too, right? Because this is really grounding energy. Look how pretty that is. It's really grounding energy. I may even use some carnelian. Carnelian works very well with your root chakra as well as your sacral chakra. So that one might work well with it. Red jasper would be another good choice. Or, and I don't have any here with me, but petrified wood. Petrified wood is so good at grounding, and it's really, really good at ancestral connection. If you were working with like your earth star chakra, that would be a good one because it literally connects you to your roots. So that's that. Let's see, red. So red candles represents passion, fire, anything that you want to do with urgency. So, I mean, even if you were doing like a blockbuster spell where you're breaking down all barriers, a red candle is good to use. If you wanted some fiery passion, passionate romance, like sexy, sexy love, nothing, not specifically like the long-term stuff, but something that's just very passionate and quick. Red is always about quick, urgent working. So that would be a good idea for that. Lust is the word that I was looking for. If you wanted to work with courage or strength, red would be good. Because red really does associate with Mars energy. So if you were trying to tap into the energy of Mars, Aries, that kind of energy, I would work with the red candle. Even for some spell work, as far as reversal work, a lot of times you'll see a red and a black candle. Fiery wall of protection, you might have a red candle for that because again, it's fast acting and it's really passionate about whatever it's going after. And Mars represents passion, but he is also a warrior. We know him more for his warrior side, but passion is one of the big things about Mars. And so, you know, if I wanted to do a fiery wall of protection where it's like you touch me and you get burnt, I would probably use a red candle. And so some energy that I would use with that, again, I would use carnelian because carnelian really represents vitality, and it taps into that, just divine energy that represents your sacral chakra. And your sacral chakra is a very passionate place. It is also where your sex lies, as far as your sex magic or your kundalini energy, building up fiery energy. That's all in your sacral chakra. And so carnelian would be a good one. Fire quartz is also another good crystal that you could work with, as far as your working with red candles. Let's see. I would work with tourmaline again. That one would be good. I might even work with smoky quartz or black obsidian. I may work with red jasper if I was trying to, mahogany obsidian. Let me show you guys that. That's a good one to work with. Yeah, those would probably be my main ones. And so herbs that I would work with this. Think of hot and spicy. I would use cinnamon. Cinnamon speeds things up. And I would use, and it adds a fiery element. I would use red chili peppers, depending on what I was trying to do. That would be a good one. If it was for love, I may use red clover. That's good. Alfalfa, mandrake. So ginger's good. Saffron. Those are some of the herbs that I would use with that. And I realized that I didn't give any herbs for the other two candles. So going back with the black candle, I would probably use some white sage, like we went over before. I may use some bay leaf. Bay leaf is good at success and protection. I am successful in all that I desire, kind of a herb. I would probably also use valerian root if I was trying to protect or hex or unhex energy. I would use motherwort. Motherwort is a very protective herb. Let's see, what else could you use? If you were getting into the hexing game, wormwood would be good. Let's see. I think that's all that I could think of off the top of my head. Of course, there's more, but those are, good starters for the black candle. And then for your brown candle, because you're doing a lot of grounding work, black eucalyptus, really good too. But because you're doing a lot of grounding work, I could probably do like dandelion, depending on what you're working with. Anything that has root in it, I would probably work a lot more with the root aspect of whatever it is that you're trying to do. So if you were using the brown candle for material wealth, I would use ginger root. I would use licorice root to draw it in. I would use dandelion root, that kind of stuff, to associate with the grounding mechanism. And so pink. So let's talk about the difference between your pink and your red candle. So red is more of a passion when it comes to a lustful energy, and pink is more of a loving, endearing, very soft type of energy. It really what you could think of when you think of nurturing. That is what pink is. You can use this candle for emotional healing, for nurturing, self-love, caring, and romantic love. And so some good crystals for that. Of course, you have rose quartz. Let's see. So this is rose quartz. This is a tower, so it has a little pointy top. Oh, they were right beside me. And then this is a rough form of rose quartz. And then the tower. And let's see, here's some small tumbled rose quartz. And you guys, I know if you're listening to the podcast and you kind of want to, if I mention some crystals and you want to see what they look like, you can always watch this video on YouTube, Holistically Attuned, and you'll see as I hold up all of the crystals, okay? Let's see. I want to show you too. Self-love. If you're working with self-love and you light your candle and you do a whole ritual, you could always use a yoni wand. And this is a yoni wand, and this is a rose quartz yoni wand. And I'll probably do another podcast slash video so you guys can understand how to work with those. But that's rose quartz. So another crystal that would be good for that would be the Botswana agate. And it looks like that. And look at it, has beautiful pink swirls in there, and you almost get lost in the cycle of love that is that. Rhodonite, this crystal is really good when you are doing, again, self-love and maybe even some shadow work, because it's good at releasing trauma. And it's pink and it has some black in it, but this is a beautiful crystal. See, and this one has more black than anything. This is a beautiful crystal when you're working with love, self-love, overcoming things, okay? Let's see. Green Aventurine. This is a good crystal because it correlates with your heart chakra, so that would be good. And love, and it's the stone of opportunity. So if you were lighting this pink candle because you wanted to bring in new love or friendships, green Aventurine would be a good one because it is the stone of opportunity. It is going to make you recognize opportunities that you would normally pass upon. So that's that. If I were working with herbs with this, I would use like pink roses, or I may use jasmine. Jasmine is a beautiful one. Oh, if you're doing spiritual work, jasmine's good for that too. I would use very soft, nurturing herbs. So that's why it's a lot of the floral stuff, you know. It is jasmine, roses, pink carnelians, even lavender. Lavender is good if you were doing love specifically. Alfalfa, comfrey, mandrake, that's all good. Apple blossom, that's a good one. Let's see. Skullcap. A lot of your herbs that are good for money are also good for love, surprisingly. And so if you get a good herb collection, you can dibble and dabble and mix it up to do a lot of different ones. If you're looking for herbs, I have them. Go ahead to holisticallyattuned.com and you'll find some on there. If you were doing self-love, ocean jasper is a good one too. If you're trying to protect love, the easiest one that I could tell you is tourmaline, because it will bring in that protective energy. If you were trying to go with the flow, a manzanite is a good one, or aquamarine. That's aquamarine. And so those are good ones to go to. Oh, and a good one for the brown candle and for grounding, tiger's eye. Look at that. It's a beautiful brown crystal. So that's that. So moving on, let's talk about the orange candle. Very underrated, because I feel like, especially as a newbie, it's like, what am I going to do with orange? It's not Halloween. But orange represents creativity. It represents success. It represents celebration, ambition, business, justice. It represents breaking down barriers. So if you see a crown of success, you may either see that in yellow or orange. If you see like something that is about your passion or breaking into your passion, you're going to see orange because it correlates with the sacral chakra. And so those are some of the uses for an orange candle. Some of the good crystals, some of the best crystals for working with that, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. You have citrine, right? This is a beautiful citrine cluster. You have orange calcite. Orange calcite is a good one. These stones represent abundance. Carnelian is a good one. Again, that represents the abundance. Sunstone, depending on what you're working with. If it's about courage or creativity, sunstone is good. Let's see, is there anything that I'm probably right in my face that I'm missing? I'm not sure. Orchid calcite. Orchid calcite is a mixture between orange calcite and tourmaline, and it's mixed together. That is a beautiful stone. And so these stones represent happiness, and happiness is good, and it also increases your drive. And so that's a good one. So if I was working with orange, depending on what it was, like if I was working with it for happiness or bliss, I would maybe even put some orange peels on there. I would put, you know, excuse me, calendula or marigold. I would put basil. What else could you use? Give me 1 second. Sorry guys, I had to go get my water. Let's see, what else could we use? Comfrey is good if you were trying to bring in abundance. Again, there's the comfrey, the skull cap, five-finger grass. That's always good. If you're breaking down the barriers, I would say the five-finger grass is a good way to go. Let's see. Yellow. So your yellow candle is really good for working on intelligence, learning, focus, memory, comfort, hope. I use yellow candles a lot for fast luck. If I was working with my solar plexus, I might use a yellow. So for confidence, I would use the yellow. If I was working with the sun energy, I would use a yellow. Working with the yellow candle, a good one would be the bumblebee jasper. Citrine would also be good for that. Yellow jasper. These are all crystals that correlate with your solar plexus, and it correlates with confidence and abundance. Citrine, I would use citrine with a yellow candle depending on what I was working it for. Tiger's eye, I would use that because that really represents abundance and protection. So if you're working with Mercury energy, yellow would be a good candle. Mercury, you could use almost any candle because it's like multicolored. But if you were working a yellow candle for focus, then I would use fluorite with it. Fluorite is a very good stone for focusing. Or I would use a clear quartz. So that's what I would probably do for that. Let's see, green. Everybody loves a green candle. So green, a lot of people use green for money manifestation. Another use for a green candle would be if you were working with or conjuring the spirit of Venus. Venus color is green. I know a lot of us think it's like pink or red because of love, but it's not. It's green. And so it's also a good candle for healing and fertility. And so, of course, because most people use it for money, I'm going to talk about some of the herbs for that. And you're going to hear a lot of these herbs repeated because listen, in my collection, I have over 100 herbs. Okay. However, I could give you a list of all those herbs, and maybe in a video we'll talk about that. But for now, I like to stick with the more common herbs that I know will work for you and that are easily attainable for you. And so I'm going to go back with the skull cap. Skull cap, these are, listen, your main money maker, skull cap. You want to get mandrake root. You want to get five-finger grass, basil, and bay leaf. Okay. If you can get magnetic sand, that's another plus. That's not an herb. That was just an extra freebie, guys. Let's see. Chamomile. Don't sleep on it. Chamomile not only brings in money, but it protects the money that you have. So it'll help you break those habits of just, you know, when your money comes in and it's gone as quickly as it comes in, yeah, it'll get rid of all that. So if you're ever doing money work, invest in some chamomile, okay? Again, if you guys need any of these herbs, let me know. Send me a message or go on the site, and they're all there. Like I was saying, I have 101 herbs, and comfrey is good. I may have already said alfalfa, but yeah, so that's that. And then some crystals that you can use when working with green. If you're using it for abundance, pyrite. And if any of you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen, like, I have these large pyrite spheres that I use when I'm doing live rituals. And that's a good one to have. And then we're back here with the green aventurine, because green aventurine is a stone of opportunity. And Oh, well, back to the pyrite, that's also known as fool's gold, just so you guys know. But green aventurine is the stone of opportunity. Green quartz, that's a really good stone to use. Labradorite. Here's the funny thing. So a lot of people don't do this, but this is something that I do. Labradorite is this one, and amethyst, as well as fluorite. And if you can, the multicolored is good, or if you can get the green one, that's good too. Those are good for money workings, for money spells, because they make you think about how you spend your money. You know, it may not be a problem of you getting money. The problem may lie in you actually keeping the money. Maybe you're not very thrifty or you spend a lot. They're good for that. Another one that is good is tree agate. And so if any of you have ever really watched any of my rituals, if I was doing, not even a ritual, if I was doing some candle working for me or just a client by themselves, I will have like my jar with the herbs and the candle in it. And I most likely put that jar in a bowl of water, because water as a energy in and of itself amplifies. And so now I have the herbs and the candle inside of a jar, inside of a bowl of water. Excuse me. In that bowl of water, I will also add crystals in the water, and I'll add herbs in the water, or flowers, so you'll see them floating around in the water surrounding the crystal. And it's a really beautiful display. And that's just how I like to do a lot of my workings, to amplify it or bring it in fast. And if you think about it too, it's a very good form of fire safety. And so that was a trick for you guys. That's one of my little tips there. And so blue is really good for communication. Blue is good for intuition. Blue is good for traveling protection, for calming, inspiration, forgiveness, healing. All of that is good for blue. If you are working with or conjuring the spirit of Jupiter, you would want to work with blue. So if I was working with a blue candle, let's say for intuition, I go back to using my blue crystals, the blue kyanite. I would use lapis lazuli. Sodalite is a good option. I may use labradorite. I may use aquamarine, so that I can calm myself and just kind of go with the flow. Clear quartz, I would definitely use clear quartz if I was working with it, a blue candle. And I may even use some amethyst, because amethyst is very spiritual. Or selenite. Selenite is very cleansing. Blue apatite, that's this sphere here. Blue apatite. So those are some ones that I would use if I was working with a blue candle. Some herbs for that. I may use poppy seed. I may use uva ursi or orris root. I may use, what am I trying to say? Mugwort. White sage, lavender, chamomile. I would use all of those. Jasmine. One thing that I forgot to say is, when you're doing your love working with your red candle or your pink candle, licorice root, calamus root, orris root, those are all really, really, really good at commanding or dominating work or bringing something in. So that's that. So let's see. Purple candle. Purple is good for influence, psychic abilities, wisdom, authority, or hidden knowledge. And so I do work with the purple candle when I'm working with my intuition, or I'm trying to strengthen my divine energy. Really tap into that connected energy. And manifestational power. I work with the purple candle. Usually when I'm working with my purple candle, I may use something like the cone flower or the jasmine. Depending on what my working is, I would use some white sage. I would use some dandelion. Those are really good for spiritual connections too, guys. And if you want to use that for your spiritual communication with the blue candle, that would be good. I use roses because I want to sweeten things in the sense where I always want that loving energy to come in. So I may use some roses. And if I didn't say it already, white sage. Let's see. So then we have silver. Silver is good for connecting with the moon energy. Silver is good for divination. And if you're connecting, a lot of people don't know this, but the moon really is a protective energy too. So if you were doing protective work and you wanted to use the energy of the moon, the power of the moon for the protection, you could use a silver candle. That's just my opinion. You don't have to follow it. You know, do your own workings and come up with what works best for you. But yeah, and so generally when I'm working with the silver candle, I probably just use clear quartz with that one. I don't do too much, or a moonstone. I'll work with the moonstone, either black or regular with that one. And then, oh, and feminine energy too. And then your gold. So your gold candle is good for wealth, luck, happiness, power, or if you were trying to tap into some masculine energy. And so for the gold candle, some of the herbs that I may use, I may try to use the more powerful masculine herbs. So I would probably work a lot more with the roots of things, mostly the things that have the root. If it was for success, though, I would work with all the same herbs probably that I would work with the money. But because I want to dominate and be in my power, I would probably use some licorice root or calamus root. Oh, and let me tell you something else, ladies. If you were working with any type of dominating work or with the silver candle, Angelica root is really good. Angelica root is a dominating herb, but it's almost like that herb specifically has a soft spot for women. I don't know why, but that's a good herb to have. And then for the gold with the masculine, with the luck, and I want to be dominating, I would probably use licorice root. Some crystals I would use for that would be, of course, the gold pyrite, fool's gold, remember. I would use golden quartz. I would use sunstone. I would use citrine. Most of the time, anything that is within the same realm of energies will share the same color. So you can look for crystals like that. I may even use rutilated quartz, which I have up there, but I'm not going to stand up and get it again. And yeah, or again, clear quartz can be substituted for almost anything. So yeah. I think that's pretty much everything. So those are the basic candles that I wanted to cover with you guys, and some of the herbs and crystals that I use those candles for. If you guys have any questions or comments, please send me a message or leave them below if you're watching the video. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this content. Please send me messages if there's things that you guys want to know about, or if there's anything that you want to go more in depth on. And I like to do a Q&A in the beginning of the videos, and so I will try my best to address those at the beginning of the next video, okay, guys? And so again, vibe high, cleanse, protect your aura, you know, embrace everything that you're doing and have fun with it. Don't take things too serious, guys. That's probably going to be my next topic. Like, taking things too serious. Enjoy your journey and love everything about it. And I guess that's the best thing that I can do for you guys. Have any questions on those crystals or the herbs that I mentioned, or any of the color candles? Again, I do sell those in my shop, or you can DM me. You can find me at holistically_attuned on IG. My website is holisticallyattuned.com. I am on Facebook at Holistically Attuned. I am on Twitter at holistic_witch. And those are the main places that you can find me, okay? So until next time, stay magical and practice. Bye.